for this summer, I just had in mind obviously to come to the Canary Islands and be able to train and windsurf a lot. But this time, instead of going straight to Pozo in Gran Canaria, I thought about Fuerteventura. And wow, what a welcome! Fuerteventura to me is also kind of special. Is where everything for me related to windsurfing started. It just kind of started creating into my mind this whole dream of maybe one day becoming a professional windsurfer. It just feels good to be here. I scored some fantastic conditions and I was happy to see the difference and the improvement that I had in these years. What's up everybody, welcome to a new vlog. I'm happy to be back. In the last years, summer for me has kind of become a tough period to plan, you know, because I come from winter where there are so many good places for wave riding, especially, you know, Hawaii, Chile, South Africa. And then in summer, I feel like a bit limited. We still have great conditions in the Canary Islands, but it's a special type of windsurfing. But yeah, I mean, this time for this summer, I just had in mind obviously to come to the Canary Islands and be able to train and windsurf a lot. But this time, instead of going straight to Pozo in Gran Canaria or like to El Cabezo in Tenerife, which both spots have pretty particular conditions, I thought, why couldn't I go first in another place, in another island that maybe has a bit more wave riding conditions where I can, you know, slowly adjust, slowly get into the rhythm and then move to Pozo and Tenerife. That's why I thought about Fuerteventura, which is exactly where I am right now. You could probably see it in my last video. So I thought, why couldn't I go to the north shore of Fuerteventura, which is pretty known for good waves? I can go there in July, which is the best month for wind and waves, usually in summer in the Canary Islands. So I can go to Fuerteventura in July, which is the windiest month. And actually Fuerteventura is the less windy island. So it was a good match, you know. I go in the best period possible to the best island for waves. And then in August, where the wind and the waves drop a little bit, especially here in Fuerteventura in intensity, I can move to Tenerife and then end of August maybe to Pozo, so I get the best conditions, you know, throughout the whole summer. That's what I planned for this summer. So 8 years later, I decided to come back to Fuerteventura and wow, what a welcome. How you could see actually from my last video, and if you didn't check it out, you should check it out. I did well. I mean, I scored epic conditions here in Fuerteventura, especially in the east side of the island. And so I'm really stoked that I did this plan. But that's not all, you know, because Fuerteventura to me is also kind of special. Like Fuerteventura is where everything for me related to windsurfing started, even before Maui, before my first time in Maui, which was in 2014. Before that, I came to Fuerteventura actually for the first time in 2012. It was my first real time in the waves. I remember when I got to Punta Blanca, which is a spot in the north shore of Fuerteventura, and I was so scared, like so scared, because there were rocks everywhere. There were some big waves, like, you know, breaking pretty powerful. I came here summer holidays 2012, and then Christmas holiday 2012, and then summer holidays 2013, and Christmas holidays 2013 with my dad. After facing the waves for the first time and being so close to the Canary Islands, obviously in summer, I started noticing and following more and more the PWA World Tour, and it just kind of started creating into my mind this whole dream of maybe one day becoming a professional windsurfer. So here it's where it all started, and also because while sailing Punta Blanca, I was a complete amateur. I was sailing 20-30 times a year, but the people that met me and that saw me, they were congratulating me. You know, I was really young. I was like 16. I mean, now there are some absolute rippers at 16, but you know, at the time with no social media, nothing, people saw some potential in me. Especially this great local sailor called Victor Moncloa. He saw some potential in me. He's a super passionate and dedicated, committed windsurfer, really high level, and we became close friends. And in the summer of 2013, he became my first windsurf coach, and we started training together just to improve my level. You know, I was simply trying to learn forward loops and back loops, starboard tack, and to learn riding. You know, I was just at the beginning of my waves experience and knowledge and skills. So it was just nice because he believed in me. He saw potential, passion in me, and in Fuerteventura in those years, it's where it truly started evolving, creating this dream of one day becoming a professional windsurfer. And so it's kind of special. It is special to come back here, see again those fantastic conditions both in Punta Blanca and in El Burro, and you know, like have fun, attack waves when at the time I couldn't even bottom turn. It's just fun, and you know, it was also fun to meet all my friends that I didn't see in so many years, because I was always going to the Canary Islands, but to Gran Canaria and Tenerife. So yes, it just felt great to be back. I was focused to improve my riding and practice some tricks in the port tack wave riding, and improve my starboard tack jumping, which is actually one of my worst conditions because it's what I trained the least, you know, in these years. A bit because we didn't have really competition starboard tack jumping, and a bit because it's hard to find these conditions besides in Morocco and Mulay, and obviously in Hawaii and Maui. But at the end in Maui, you're always at Okipa trying to train and get better at Okipa. That is such a hard spot, you know. So yes, it just feels good to be here. I scored some fantastic conditions, and I was happy to obviously see the difference and the improvement that I had in these years. I hope you could feel the stoke from Fuerteventura. In the next video, I'm gonna talk better about each spot where I've been sailing, so that you can a bit understand how the whole North Shore of Fuerteventura works in summer, and also extra activities that you could do while here when it's not windy, to keep yourself busy, to keep having good days, and you know, keep being in nature. So yes guys, I hope you enjoyed a bit of storytelling. Now with this, you really have the base of my career, of my dream, of my story. So I thought it could have been nice to share it. And yes, I see you in the next video where I'm gonna explain better the spots and of course some other action. Ciao ragazzi, ciao tutti, have a good one.